Let's bring back our camera and our mics.
We don't have to do the countdown.
No, we didn't do the countdown. I was just doing that so we knew it was a new thingamabob. Okay. Look, our movement is smoother. We don't look like we're in the 90s anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's way better.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
Let's try that again. Hey, everybody. Heather here.
And I'm Tom.
Welcome to SHARESPARKTV,
the non-choppy show where we break down the impact of digital media on news, pop culture, and the world around you. Oh, my Lord, though. What happened there?
It's just a constant struggle.
It's just a constant
We strive
struggle.
for perfection.
Oh, because I put I tried to put the bitrate at 3,000, I put it at 300.
Oh, okay. We'll get there.
So that's what 300 bitrate looks like, if you're wondering. This is what 3,000 looks like.
Ding, ding.
You should see it.
Very soon.
You should see it snap in and get real pretty. Maybe. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's you fixing it.
It's going to happen. And there! Oh, smooth motion,
Yay!
Nice and clear. Wow, there we
Cool.
go. We jumped into the 21st century.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hi, everybody. On this episode of SHARESPARKTV, well, first of all, SHARESPARKTV is a live stream show brought to you here on YouTube, also on Facebook, but we stream live every Tuesday on both Facebook and YouTube to talk about all things digital media. And for this episode today, we are going to be talking about the YouTube algorithm.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bum, 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 which we kind of talked about last week. We talked about the state of YouTube and we kind of gave our opinions and experiences. And we kind of hit on the algorithm a little bit, but this week we wanted to go, really specifically into that and what that means. And a lot of people hear it. Sorry, what was it?
Yeah, a lot of people hear it.
A lot of people hear it and might not understand what it is at all. And some people might think they understand what it is, have a wrong understanding, and other people might have very strong opinions about it. So it was just, if you're involved in YouTube at all, viewer, creator, the algorithm is something that is very important to at least have a cursory understanding of.
Yes, and the reason why we wanted to talk about it this week was honestly because of me, because I had a client who is trying to build up a YouTube channel, and I was doing kind of just an analysis on some other similar channels, or in channels we're doing content in the same theme and subject and niche and stuff like that. And I had discovered a channel that had over 2 million channel views. And the most popular video on that channel had several 100,000 views, which obviously makes up a huge bulk of that over 2 million overall. And when I clicked on that video, that entire video had just been ripped from another source.
What do you mean?
Like downloaded and just basically, downloaded from another source that is not his own, so that's not his content. And then they
re-uploaded it?
No, they
cropped in?
Yeah, they edited enough where the sound was different and some of the video is different from the original, so that when, obviously when you upload a video to YouTube, it processes it to find copyrighted information. And so he's not discovered. And so, because the content is really good, it's legit content, that is his most popular video. That is a huge funnel for new subscribers to discover his channel. And when you compare it to his actual authentic content that he uploads regularly, it's just like a complete, not even on the same page. And I was so frustrated by that, because you have, especially for when I'm working with clients that are legitimately trying to make an impact and really help people and create positive content, because you guys know that that's what I'm all about. And then I see that a competing channel is just completely ripped content. That is so frustrating to me. It's so annoying.
Yes.
It's one thing if you're a creator like me and you want to optimize your content for search, use the YouTube algorithm to work in your favor so that you can connect your content to your audience. Like that, because you have genuine content.
It's not a bad thing. The algorithm's not a bad thing.
It's okay. The algorithm's not a bad thing. Let's talk about that.
It's also not a great thing.
Not a thing.
It's just a thing.
It's a thing.
Well,
it's not a thing.
Yeah.
Is it a thing?
It's kind of like when people say their files are stored in the cloud, and it's like...
What is that?
Yeah, is it like a cumulonimbus cloud or what? Yeah, so the reason that...
to get my charger.
Okay, so the reason... That's fine, I'll give my backstory real quick. The reason that I started thinking about the algorithm that we started this conversation is I stumbled across a TED Talk, which I highly recommend. It's on the TED channel, so don't get any fake re-uploaded ones. And it's called The Nightmare Videos of Children's YouTube by James Brittle. And in this, he sort of analyzes issues with the internet and content specifically through the lens of YouTube and the algorithm and what people are doing with children's content on YouTube. Because basically, there's been a lot of stories about this, but there's a lot of really weird kid stuff on YouTube, and YouTube is trying really hard to crack down on that. And when I say weird, I mean like overly sexualized, really like irrelevant, just very inappropriate stuff that no parent would ever want their kid to actually watch. But the thing is, if parents aren't the ones watching, if a kid is, on their parent's phone or on an iPad or whatever, and they're watching YouTube, they just find this stuff and they don't know, or their parents might say, yeah, you could watch this one totally appropriate video, and then the autoplay feature is just going to suggest whatever the algorithm puts next, which is sometimes these super weird things. And
that's because people have worked the algorithm.
Yeah.
Even though the content doesn't necessarily align with the actual subject of the tags.
Yeah, and so in this case, in the TED Talk, he's pointing out the sort of negative, this is why people can see things that are terrible, why these terrible things become visible. But just from a YouTube creator perspective, it also points out like, oh, it's this thing that you can manipulate, but it also makes it also makes no sense. We were just talking. Heather led a YouTube workshop earlier tonight, which was really, really good.
Thank you.
And part of it was she talked about search engine optimization, which is very connected to the algorithm. And one of the examples she gave was one of her own videos, and then one of my videos, which is a video on how to do Procreate, which is an app on the iPad lettering. And this is a video I made like almost a year ago, which in the first 6 months it was up, got 190 views. It was just sort of at the bottom of its graph. It's just at the bottom. And then all I did was change the thumbnail and the title and a couple of the tags, and it shot up and was getting 400 views a day for like 3 months. And it shot up to almost 20,000 views total. And then literally overnight, you can see in the chart, it just goes back down to like 30 views a day. And it's such a good snapshot of one of the effects of the YouTube algorithm, where the video itself never changed. It was the exact same thing I uploaded last August, but it had this crazy rise and fall, which was like almost inexplicable because of the algorithm deciding to pick it up and then deciding to dump it. And it's crazy.
Yeah. And, that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is like, especially if you're a content creator, this is obviously very relevant if you're on YouTube, but really it's the same for Instagram, Facebook. They all work the same just because this is the framework of these platforms is search engine optimization. That's how these platforms know what content to show you specifically. And sometimes it can feel as a YouTube creator that you're like at the mercy of this algorithm and feeding this algorithm and trying to like figure it out so that you can make more content, get more views, get more subscribers and stuff like that. But the other thing that I mentioned in my YouTube workshop is that, I also, it breaks my heart when people either stop creating or they get discouraged because their views are dropping off, their subscribers are dropping off, and they feel like, the algorithm is not working in their favor. And really, obviously we want to do our best to try to be optimized for discovery so that we can get more people to watch the content that we put a lot of time into making. But also, as a creator, I think it's really important for us to support each other and remember, why did we even come onto these platforms in the first place? It's like, why are you creating? What is your goal? What is the impact that you want to make? It's not just, I want a bunch of subscribers. That's not your goal. Your goal is to, I don't know, make somebody laugh, teach somebody something.
Express yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's so many goals, whatever your goal is, whatever the story is that you want to share, but just making sure that it doesn't matter whether you have 100 people, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people watching one video. That's completely like secondary. As long as, you know, you're having fun doing it. Tom did a video recently on this. You're having fun doing it and you are making that impact, even if that impact is on one person.
Because that's a whole person. That's a whole life.
That's a whole person. And that's something that you wouldn't have been able to do if not for YouTube, if not for these platforms. And, you know, it's so hard when you get an uptick in your channel and, you know, things are picking up and then things drop off. That's like the most frustrating thing.
I remember specifically when starting my channel, my whole thing was, I was like, I don't care at all. I'm just going to make what I want, when I want, and if no one watches it, I don't care. If everyone watches it, I don't care. And like, it was just for me, which I still try to go by that. But if I'm being 1,000% honest with myself, there was a part of me that thought, yes, that's what I want to do. And then I hope that's going to be the thing that like, what? Suddenly it takes off. And then that didn't happen. It took, you know, 4 months to get 50 subscribers, and most videos were getting 12 views or 18 views. And it was just after that amount of time, and it was just like, oh, but then you're like, but the numbers don't matter, but I'm spending my time on this, but that doesn't matter. And then I felt weird because sometimes, you know, we would have plans to go do something like, hey, you want to like go do this or go do that or whatever. I'm like, oh, I gotta finish this video. And then I would feel silly, like, who cares? Like, yeah, you're supposed to have a video out tomorrow, but is anyone gonna even notice if you don't? And the answer is probably not. But you were really good too, because I felt so embarrassed because your channel was so big compared to my like brand new channel, and you were so good about like, no, it's important not because of the external validation. It's important because you want to make something and you set this goal for yourself, and that's what really matters. And even though not many people are watching, there are still a couple people watching, and it still matters, even though you can easily kind of talk yourself out of thinking that it does.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, that's part of both of our missions, is that we want to advocate for creators, because for sure, like, every creator is going to hit the slump. I think it's really tricky and difficult that every creator jumps into creating so vigorously and passionately and with gusto and enthusiasm and like, oh my gosh, I've discovered this side of myself that I've never known before. And there's just like, you know, it's like so fun to watch someone discover this, like, what creating can be and like what it can do for you and the impact that you can make with these people that you'll never meet and stuff like that. And then it just always, like, everyone's going to hit that slump. And that's why I think it's really important that we come together, because like one of the things that I tell Tom specifically is that, and this is one of the things I pride myself in, actually, is that I feel like I do a really good job in helping people discover what story would really make an impact on somebody, or what story that
would resonate. Yeah,
would resonate. And one of the things is that Tom, 32-year-old, is obviously a guy and is a teacher, like is a high school teacher, which is like so rare in education to have, in high school education, middle school education, to have a male teacher. Like it's majority female. So he's a minority. And definitely a minority when it comes to the subject that he teaches, which is digital media production, because digital media didn't even exist before. So the fact that he's a teacher who has a YouTube channel, I tell him this like almost every day. If my teachers in high school had YouTube channels and they were like legit good, he has over 1,000 subscribers, which is like street cred for the kids. His video production quality is amazing. You know, it's really, really good content that would resonate with not just the kids, not just other teachers in his field, and not just like the parents, random people who are interested in 3D printing and stuff like that. Like, I think that is like such a cool thing that people would love to hear more about. I feel like, especially, you know, especially as digital media becomes more common, like we're going to see more teachers who have YouTube channels. I think Tom is one of the first. But
lots of teachers have them, but they're all, a lot of the ones I've seen are very, at least at the high school level, are for their classes. So it's like, oh, you weren't in my math class today. Here's basically the math lesson. Sometimes literally it's them like in class, like the book, and like go here, so you could go home that night and rewatch it or whatever. It's for their students.
Yeah, and see, I think that like you could be a precedent for other people in education, like how they've been able to use this tool to make an impact on their kids both inside and outside the classroom. It's like it's so cool. Like one of the things that you tell me a lot about is how you really liked teachers who actually practiced what they preached.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that was
crazy.
I had an art teacher in high school who, like, I thought it was very cool when we had an assignment, we'd be doing a painting or whatever, he would be, like, at his desk doing a painting. That's super cool. Like,
I thought an English teacher who writes a book.
English teacher writes a book or is super into plays and always going and seeing shows and reviewing them and talking about them, and like that. It just, they were into their field as opposed to like just reading from the textbook and going home for the day.
Regurgitating the information.
Yeah, and that, I just thought that was really cool. And for years, I've been teaching digital media for like 7 years, and for, you know, I guess the first 6 up until last year, I maybe created like one video a year, and I didn't put that, I think I had a Vimeo, but it's not like I shared it or anything. So like I wouldn't really put it up anywhere. I'd sort of like show it around school, because they'd usually be school related videos, like a montage of a sport game or something. I do like one of those a year, 2 of those a year. And that was kind of it. And so my students would always ask, because I'm making them make projects all the time, and they'd go, Mr. Buck, like, what have you made lately? And I'd always be like, well, you know, we're really busy, and my job is to help you make stuff. And that's true. But it's also like, at a certain point, it is really important if I'm telling some kid how to do something in Photoshop or Final Cut or use a camera a certain way to tell an effective story. It's nice that if they needed to, they could actually see how I am doing that myself. And it's nice that I can then do that and then go, oh man, this thing I've been asking students to do is actually like really hard or inefficient to do this way, and it is better to do it this way. I should start teaching them to do it that way. Like, it keeps you up to date on your field.
And it really, you know, our point is that it really depends on what your goal is, but just to remember to like keep your goal in mind and as your North Star as you're in every phase of building a YouTube channel or whatever it is that you're creating. Because, you know, for Tom's YouTube channel, I think he can really make an impact globally, you know, like as he builds a global audience and a global reach on YouTube. But I also feel like he can make an impact with his students, like the students that he actually connects with in his classroom. And, you know, that's not something where he needs thousands and millions of subscribers and views. You know, even just having your channel before it was as big as it is now was already making an impact. And I think it's just so important that, you know, I think that if you are creating content on YouTube, especially like tutorials and how-tos and unboxings and product reviews and stuff like that's informational and helpful, that you do optimize your content. Because how did you describe it? Like, you want your fighter in the game, or...
Well, it's to give
every video a fighting chance.
To get the chance that it deserves. So the way I kind of look at it, I'm trying to look at it, is you want to create, you know, and I bring this as someone who's doing YouTube for fun. So I want to create the stuff that I want to create. My channel does have its specific topics: tech, vlogs, 3D printing. I put vlogs in there because that is pretty broad, so that kind of lets me weave in like unrelated things. But if randomly I were like, you know, this is how to repair a washing machine, that would probably be a helpful video, but it wouldn't really fit in with my others. I would still want to make it if that were the video I wanted to make the most, but it wouldn't really fit. I'm trying to like create what I want, but keep it reasonable, and I want to have fun with it. But if I spend all this time making a video, even if it's a really fun video, I don't want to just throw it up on YouTube and go, upload, done, walk away. Like, I'll spend a half hour or more doing the thumbnail and the title and the description and the tags and the links in the description, and then sending it out on social media, because I did spend a lot of time on this. And even whoever ends up watching it, however many people, I at least want as many people as I can to know that it's there. And if they choose to watch it, like it, not watch it, whatever, that's their choice. But if you do spend, it's kind of the argument it reminds me of so much, especially as a digital media teacher, is, and starting to teach digital media years ago when phones were not as good as they are now. They could shoot blurry video like our stream looked a while ago when it was at 300 bitrate, was that a lot of people would say it doesn't matter about the quality, it's all about the story. And that is above all true.
Yes.
And then so sometimes I, as a teacher, would actually get criticized or looked down on, mainly by other adults and other teachers, for focusing on teaching kids to do high quality stuff. This is the cameras, the lenses, the resolutions, like all those things, because that's not what they said mattered. And my argument coming back to them was, you are right that having a story told with a blurry phone video is way better than not having that story told. But if you have a story that's really worth telling, I feel you should do that story justice and tell it as effectively as possible, which probably means that it looks as good as possible, whatever you can do at that time. And so this is kind of the same thing. YouTube is for fun. I don't think that it should then take over your life trying to feed the algorithm, but I do think that you should give your work a fighting chance to be boosted by the algorithm. It's just sort of finding that balance, and the algorithm itself is so like, it's not a person. And that's kind of one thing that like was important to emphasize, is that it's not like a one-line thing. Like,
no.
For example, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's a constantly evolving thing, and it's not, people like to blame YouTube and Team YouTube for like the algorithm this, the algorithm that. Honestly, YouTube itself doesn't know how their algorithm works, because here's the thing, like, with my very limited knowledge of how an algorithm in programming and coding would work, you could set parameters of like, if this, then this, or if this, then that, or whatever. But YouTube doesn't know how its users are going to like create the content that goes into that algorithm.
There's a lot of variables in it.
Yeah, there's so many variables.
There's a lot of artificial intelligence components. So
there's people like who are genuinely using the tags right, who are manipulating, like Tom said about the, children's content stuff. They know that children's content gets tons and tons of views. And so they're using the tags to get their content discovered, even though their thing is totally not children appropriate and stuff like that. So I think it's very important to have a basic knowledge of how an algorithm works. Doesn't matter. I mean, that's just our digital world. That's how all of these platforms works. Each platform has an algorithm to, show what content gets in front of your feeds and stuff like that. But also as a content creator, it's important not to feel like you're becoming a slave to the algorithm. You just like lose the spirit.
You're feeding this computer god, like,
yeah,
the algorithm demands a sacrifice.
And you never know like how that algorithm is going to affect your channel later. Like, I have people who discover me from a video I made 2 years ago, and then that person will go and binge watch all of my videos since the beginning of time. And like, that's, if I hadn't made all of those videos, there wouldn't be anything for a person to watch. And even though when I uploaded those videos, it didn't even get 50 views, people that are now discovering me they want to watch all the content. And so that's why it's like, don't get discouraged. Just make sure that you create content that you are, that makes you happy and stuff like that.
Because here's a quick example that I pulled up on the screen that's over here. I just searched YouTube for iPhone 10 review. I figured that'd be a really popular search term. And it is. It gets about 133,000 searches per month. So of the first results, you would think, if you just stepped into this and you're like, how's YouTube going to organize search results? You'd probably think, well, the most popular videos and then maybe like the newest ones. So some kind of balance between newness and popularity. But so the very first one is incredibly popular. It's from MKBHD, who's a very popular tech reviewer. It has 4.9 million views, uploaded 8 months ago. The one right below that has 186,000 views, uploaded 2 weeks ago. Below that, 216, 2 months. Below that, 2.6 million 8 months ago. Below that, 3.2 million 3 months ago. Why is the 3.2 million one ranked way lower than a 2.6 million one from 8 months? Like, And then there's these ones, there's 199 before 100,000 before 93. Like, it
Basically,
really makes no sense.
Yeah, you have videos that have like 100,000 ranking higher than videos that have 1 million.
Because part of the algorithm takes into account engagement. You know, how many people are commenting on this, how many people are liking it, how many people are disliking it, how many people are subscribing through this video, what is the watch time on this video. If this video has 1 million views but everyone's leaving after 1 minute, and this video has 100,000 views but everyone's staying till the end, like, there's just so many variables that you cannot take into account. And if that's all you're thinking about when you're making your stuff, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. Something, I don't even think I talked to you about this, but it was just something that really made me sad the other day. I was watching, I don't even know if I was watching it, or I don't know where it was. It was one of like the YouTube strategy videos. There's a ton of YouTube strategy channels, like how to, you know, basically it's all almost all algorithmic. Yeah, how to get your videos ranked. And one of them was, it was how to create the most effective content. And the example they were using was, say you run a bakery, and so you want to start a YouTube channel that's kind of about cooking and baking. Cool, that makes sense. And then say you want to make a video about how to make chocolate mousse, but you go into YouTube and you search it up and you realize nobody's really looking for how to make chocolate mousse, but everyone's looking for how to make pie crust. And then so you should make a video about how to make pie crust. And I stopped that there. It was just like on in the background. I stopped it there and I was like, hang on. So...
No.
If my goal is...
No.
If I just want to make...
No. I'm so annoyed by that. I'm sorry. Go.
No, I like your reaction to it.
No, because if you... See, that's why it all... ShareSpark. Share your story. Spark your potential. Share your story. Your story. If you want to make a freaking video about chocolate mousse, go make your video about chocolate mousse. Optimize it. Make sure it has its best fighting chance. Do what you can. Make a really nice thumbnail. Take the time. Production value, etc., etc. But share the story that you want to share. Don't... Oh, God, that annoys me. That annoys me that, like, you would change everything.
And what if, like, three people watch it and then learn how to make chocolate mousse that becomes a family, like, favorite? Like, you are now part of their family forever because of your chocolate mousse recipe.
It's one thing to be, like, strategic and, like, efficient. So... If you sit there and you're like, I don't know what to make a video about, but I want it to be about cooking or baking. Yeah. And then you go in and you're like, okay, let's see what chocolate mousse is doing and pie crust and da-da-da.
You just want to make a video and you don't care what it's... You just, I want to make a baking video. What would be the best baking video to make? I'm happy with making anything.
Right, because you're taking that approach of like reverse engineering based on your research and, you know, trying to get content ideas. That's one thing. But if you like... That's
what made me sad. If the person was like, I want to make a chocolate mousse video, and they're like, no.
We talk about this all the time. Tom always tells me when he knows a video is just not going to get the traction that his other videos get. Like, I don't know, give me an example of one.
It's oftentimes I'll say that when it's more like vloggy style stuff.
Yeah. The one that comes to mind is like the Switzerland video of us.
Oh yeah, I love that video.
It's like my favorite video he's ever made because obviously I'm a little biased.
I made it as a gift for you.
Yeah, and you know, it's not... I mean, how many people are going to search like HeatherJustCreate the Enthusiasm Project? So, yeah. Anyway, Eric said I need to work on that, which is what you were talking about 10 minutes ago. And Miriam Havard says hi. Hello. Hi. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
So wait, what did Eric need to work on?
I think it was like making sure everything had a fighting chance.
Yeah, I mean that's
taking the time to like, you know, do what you got to do and make sure every single video, you know, you should have a protocol, I feel like, and try to make your process efficient when it comes to creating. You know, like I remember one of the first things that I did when I was really trying to get serious about YouTube is I made a production list and I made an uploading list, and that way I didn't have to think about like what do I have to do next. It's like literally 10 steps every time I upload a video. I need to create a thumbnail, I need to come up with a title, I need to have the description, da-di-da-di-da, and I just go through the thing. Same with production. I need to make sure my camera batteries are charged, the lights set up, and da-da, so that you're not just sitting there twiddling your fingers trying to figure out like what is it that I have to do. And that, you know, everything, you're maximizing the time and effort that you put in to make sure that every video is as good as it can be. But also when it comes to the content, like, and the whole algorithm thing, it breaks my heart that people would, like...
sacrifice what they wanted to make?
Yes.
Yes. Me too.
Yes.
What... this when you said that, this was... because this is what I was thinking of, which is... I had, camera gear and equipment just because of my job, my interest, way before I started a channel. But after getting a channel, there's certain things, I get to buy new equipment, this microphone that I needed. Like, there's just certain things that you need. And I was really excited about that. But the thing that really made me feel like I was taking my stuff seriously was I went to the office supply store and bought a $15 whiteboard that it's stuck to the back of the door of this room. And it's just divided into 2 columns. One is what would be like recorded, edited videos, and the other are ideas for live streams. And that's it. It's got some, and that's all that it is just a list of my ideas for videos that I can keep track of and check them off and erase and add to or whatever. But for some reason, putting up this cheap little whiteboard is what it made it so real and tangible that I was like, I'm taking this seriously enough to like give the ideas enough credit to just be part of my world physically. Yes. And I don't know why, but that was like, that made it feel, wow, you're really taking this seriously. Never mind, like, you'll buy a $1,000 camera lens or something.
Yeah.
This cheap little whiteboard was what, like, got it into my head of, yeah, you're taking this seriously. So it is really important to, like, refine that process that helps you give your, I don't want to say the C word, content, but gives whatever you're creating, the content you're creating, the best chance and helps you get the best enjoyment out. Because the thing you hear all the time is that YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint. And so a lot of people are like, I'm vlogging every day, I'm growing my channel, and they get 8 days into it and they're like, this sucks, it's really hard, nobody's watching. And
that's why it's very important for you to remember what your goal is and why you're even making a YouTube channel in the first place, and just being aware of that. So Eric was referring to the keywords. That's what he needs to work on.
Keywords, yeah. And that's really important. And if they're not working, which you taught me a lesson of, if you have a video, you think you did a good job, but it's not getting any views, there's no problem in going around and changing them out again.
Yeah. That's what Tom did.
You don't want to do fake things. You see people do this all the time. Like, if I just uploaded a vlog and I was like, oh, Switzerland, HeatherJustCreate, The Enthusiasm Project, Matterhorn,
travel vlog,
and then I was like, no one's gonna watch this. Logan Paul fight. Like, you're just using, that's against the terms of service, first of all. So if you got caught on, you could get a strike on your channel. But it's also just, it's such bad practice. You want to be genuine, you want to be authentic, and you want to keep your stuff as genuine and authentic as possible. But things you can do, so if you uploaded a chocolate mousse recipe, you could go find the other ones that are out there that seem like yours, like, oh, this is a chocolate mousse recipe that has decent views. What tags did they use, if any? Sometimes it's none. Sometimes you're like, oh, I didn't even think of this way of approaching it. And then you can kind of like, you can find inspiration through the things that are similar to what you're doing.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Martin Bunning, $5 super chat donation.
There's supposed to be an air horn button here, but I don't think it's playing. If it is, you heard it. If it's not, you didn't.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Shout out to you. You were the best. Miriam Havard says, I gotta do something like that. Basically, I just wing it, but I want to be business-like.
It really makes a difference, even if you're doing YouTube for fun, to treat it like to give it the credit. You're spending your time on it. That's important.
I like to tell people that YouTube is both an art and a science. The art part, obviously, is the media part, is the fact that you have a blank canvas that is your, empty memory card, or your unuploaded video, or your empty channel, for example, and whatever you create on there is completely, like, no one can recreate what you are going to create, and that's that beautiful artistic expression and creativity that is a wonderful thing on YouTube. The science part comes down to like branding and optimization and knowing how to analyze your data, because it's not just the algorithm, but it's also like maybe taking the time to go into your videos once a month and looking at the analytics and seeing, hey, are people dropping off after 4 minutes into the video and not watching the other 6 minutes that I spent forever editing? what can I do to make sure that, you know, I retain maybe my viewers are more interested in that, so I can make more content about that. I think it's, you know, worth it. I think it's worth it. Like, obviously, you know, Tom and I always distinguish that he's doing it for fun and I'm doing it for money. I'm doing it for fun too. And he's now getting money.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't mean yeah.
But I mean, like, I feel like if you, why wouldn't you? You know, if you're going to put in the time and effort, it takes so much time and effort to do this. So if you could just start kind of just, you know, factoring it in little by little. It's not like you need to take a 2-hour process every single time you upload.
No.
But, you know, just factoring in like, hey, maybe I'm going to take the time this month to learn more about the analytics page in YouTube and how I can, you know, what data I need to examine to make, to help me better come up with content ideas for the future.
And some people end up really liking that, and that actually does become part of the fun. So it's not like it's
exactly
like you love analyzing data.
I can look at data all day.
Yeah, so some people that ends up being like, oh man, you mean I get to spend my afternoon going through my analytics? Like, that's genuinely fun. So it's just kind of, you have to make it work for you because you are a person and the algorithm is not a person, and you want to use it as a tool. You do not want to have it use you just to get more ad revenue.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so annoying to me. Oh, I can't even.
I can't wait. I have a special live stream scheduled for when I reach my 2,000 subscriber goal. Hopefully in the next couple months. It's gonna be very fun. I will do a live stream of me demonetizing my YouTube channel.
Wait, what did you say?
My 2,000 subscriber live stream. I did a 1,000 subscriber giveaway.
Oh, sorry, I was reading Martin's chat.
Oh, so say at 2,000, I'm gonna demonetize my channel, and go into explain why.
There you go.
I don't know why. I felt like doing that.
Martin says, "What's the PO box? Need to send a horn."
We haven't quite got our PO box yet. We haven't gotten our mail time segments, but that is something we need to get on, and then we will definitely be sharing it, so people can send us goodies.
He's asking if this is a podcast. So ShareSparkTV is, I mean, if you've been following me for a while, you actually know the backstory of ShareSparkTV. That's how we met. That's how Tom and I met. Kind of. It was one of the ideas that that came about from us meeting, which was like almost a year ago. But, you know, he's passionate about digital literacy. He obviously teaches it. This is what I quit my job and, you know, started my journey to do. And we said that, hey, it would be cool if we did a live show where we talked about the issues that we were excited about talking about with each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, also the impact on what we've seen in the world and how being digitally illiterate, you know, is now being like a...
It's really putting you at a disadvantage. The same as
that.
not being able to read or write. Like if you're not able to interact effectively digitally, if you don't have that literacy, you're really at a disadvantage.
Yeah. And you know, coming from HeatherJustCreate, since that's what the channel that we're broadcasting on right now, ShareSparkTV actually used to just broadcast on the ShareSpark Media Facebook page. And then, you know, I've gone through all this re-strategization and trying to figure out, like, what is the most effective, you know, place to be and channel and brand and stuff like that. And I decided that I want to be known for ShareSpark and I want to be known for promoting digital literacy. So there is the ShareSpark Media YouTube channel that's just sitting there.
But it's got good stuff on it. It's got really helpful, useful, like, tutorials and things.
I'm very proud of them.
So it serves a purpose, but it was
and I'll do something with it later, probably.
Yeah, but even the literacy component there is looking at these two outlets, these two different channels, and deciding what to put on which, and going, okay, this is the message I want to be known for, and I want to get out. This is the most effective, no pun intended, the most effective channel to get that to the audience that I want to get it to, and that's...
And so that's why ShareSparkTV is now here on HeatherJustCreate, and I know it's like totally different from my other content. This is not a vlog, this is not Heather's Happy Hour, but...
You're very brave with your channel. You don't mind just experimenting and going for it.
No, and I don't.
Which is great.
I'm proud of that. You know, I feel like if you wanted to like grow a channel from 0 to 1,000 in 2 weeks, don't do what I'm doing. But I love the fact that I am, you know, very willing to admit that I am still figuring out how to share my story on this platform. And I want people to see how, the different ways that you can potentially share your story.
Yeah.
And how I'm trying to figure that out and all of that. I think that's really important because I at the end of the day, you're creating for yourself, first of all. Like, you should be creating for yourself because it makes you happy. It gives you fulfillment.
It's not sustainable otherwise.
Yeah, it's like, why do something you don't want to do? It's bizarre. Don't do that.
Look who's here. Rock Entry.
What's up, man? Oh my gosh, Rock Entry. I'm so freaking proud of this guy. So freaking proud of him. He was an early subscriber and very active chat person in Heather's Happy Hour in the early days. And man, I think you were on my channel when you hadn't even started your channel. And I remember you even talking about it. You're like, I want to start a channel about climbing. And now he's like, I don't even know how many subscribers
Let's look
you're
it up. 125 videos?
From 0. Or maybe you had a couple, but now there's a lot.
With 6,800 subs.
Isn't that crazy? That's so crazy. I'm so stinking proud of you, man.
Dang. And videos getting crazy, like, engagement and
See,
views. Which, I mean, we're just like, it's not about the numbers.
It's not about the numbers, but the fact that you were able to make this impact. And, I would actually love to talk to you about your YouTube channel one day. Because it's going back to what we were talking about before. The chocolate mousse cake versus the pie crust. Like, if you wanted to share your story and share this kind of content, which is rock climbing, because that's what you're passionate about, and then that's what you should do. Because even if you look at his comments, I mean, he has a really engaged audience. That's the goal. You want to make an impact on your audience and share your passion with them and stuff like that. If you're feeding an algorithm, are these guys even like watching your channel? Like, are they connected with you, or are you just making content that's like feeding the algorithm?
Going back to the TED Talk that I mentioned earlier, that's what he mentions is like he shows clips from some of these videos where people are trying to just dupe the algorithm, and literally it gets really weird where it's like grown men in their like wearing diapers, like running on the beach after like a weirdly dressed sort of knockoff Spider-Man or superhero or something. And he's like, these guys are trying to, like, they're doing this to try to satisfy a computer that they don't understand so that it will, like, basically recommend their content to other computers so that another computer will give them money. And they don't know how it works, but they know that's the end result. And the way he explains it more eloquently than that, but the way he does, when you step back and look at that, it was just like, that is bizarre. And so...
And I remember when that happened, because I think that was on the news, when, the whole, like, there's all those YouTubers that were just, like, opening toys, and that just became, like, this huge fad.
But adults, like, being, like, kiddie was, like, a weird thing. It's, like, kid stuff is the biggest target.
Yeah, because what happens is that you've got these millennial parents that now give iPads and iPhones to their kids when they're being, like, crazy, or, it's just like, here, this is the pacifier, and the kids will watch it over and over and over, and then you have the people who freaking suck because they just manipulate and they work and game the algorithm just to work in their favor, and so they have, they know that that's where the traffic is, and those are the searches are being made, and so they just use those tags to get traffic on their videos, and it's really freaking annoying.
You know what it reminds me of? Like an old school version of this, pre-internet and algorithm, is the Teletubbies.
Why?
Were you ever fortunate enough to watch an episode of Teletubbies?
I don't think so.
Okay, you remember Teletubbies, right?
Yeah, wait, the 4?
There's like the 4 of them, different colors.
Things?
They live in like a park or something. They're like homeless and live in a park. But they, that show was so brilliant from a production standpoint because, and I use the term brilliant loosely, but it's a half-hour kids show, and literally everything they would do on the show, they would just do it twice. So
shut up.
So if they showed a video or something, like, I don't know what the dialogue of Teletubbies would be, but if they were like, oh, whatever, let's watch this video about a worm, they would show the video, it's a 2-minute video, and then they'd be done, and they go like, again, and they would just show the same thing again.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so each episode was only half an episode, basically, because everything, even if they like play a game or something, they're like, that was fun, again, and it's just the exact same, like, they just recycled everything in every episode.
That's so crazy.
And the argument was like, well, kids, like, especially young kids, like, they need repetition to get these concepts in. So if we're teaching them how to count to 10, we do it twice and then whatever. And it's like, no, that's probably was like a budgetary thing to save money. But it stems back to, but kids were, that show blew up, and kids were, you know, pre-internet, there were fewer options, but kids loved that show, regardless of the fact they're just watching the same thing over and over again. And so this is sort of the same thing that's happening with the algorithm, because people know that, like, kids, especially small children, aren't necessarily equipped to decipher quality content from garbage content. They just get to watch a thing, and when it's done, they'll just rewind it and watch it again over and over and over again. They don't know what they're doing. The end result is those people are then getting the watch time, which then translates to the AdSense dollars or whatever, at the cost of this kid's brain being rotted, because this is what they think they should be watching. They don't know that there's bad quality stuff, high quality stuff.
Of course, like how would they know?
Yeah, and the parents might not even be aware that that's even happening. They just might think, oh, they're watching a kid's show. Like, it's no different than when we watched kids' shows, Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
But, man.
And like that, I mean, that's not only true for children's content or children, you know, tags that are in that industry. I think that, you know, you'll see this anywhere. It's like people will do, it sucks. People dilute the platform and just kill the spirit of it just to manipulate tags and try to rank. You know, if this is trending, you see that a lot. Like, this is trending right now. Oh my gosh, I have to make a video about it because it's trending.
Yeah,
like,
and then it really does put at a disadvantage those who are trying to be like, I made a video about how to bake a chocolate mousse thing. I want to just be genuine with it, but then the algorithm can't necessarily like sort that through from all the complete insanity that's happening there.
Miriam says, again. I had
See,
no
that's
idea.
What they did.
That's so crazy.
It was nuts. I mean, I didn't watch the whole catalog of Teletubbies. But for whatever reason, even in high school, I remember my friends and I would sometimes just watch it just to be like, what is this? Like,
really quick, Rock Entry, we're going to connect and hopefully collab. But I think you're in LA, and I just wanted to see what you were doing tomorrow.
There's a very cool, exciting thing happening tomorrow in LA.
Yeah.
Actually, we could share it out, right?
4 o'clock at Industrious Los Angeles in Century City. Cody Wanner.
Like honor with a W. Cody
Wanner.
He's hosting a meetup.
Is hosting a meetup for creators, and he's... Man, his channel. He was featured creator on the Rise on Friday.
His story's nuts. He started daily vlogging January 1st of this year. He's in his 30s. He has 2 kids. Just started daily vlogging and just like did these high quality vlogs from the get-go, but even when his channel had like 30 subscribers. And then just kept doing it and just had this message of like motivation, get it done, etc., etc. And then his channel got up to almost 3,000 subscribers. And somehow he got on Peter McKinnon's radar, who has 2.2 or 3 million. And then Peter McKinnon did an entire featured video about him that was like insanely well produced. And I remember watching it. I was just watching it and I was like, this is that guy. Because didn't you meet at VidCon? Or you talked to him? You emailed or something?
We were tweeting like kind of back and forth. And I forgot. I think it was Gino who connected us. Because I think he said like, oh, these are the YouTubers that like inspire me or something, and I was one of them. He was one of them.
Yeah, and I had found him through some other videos we chatted in comments, and I was like, this is that guy who had like he really is a genuinely small.
Oh, Rock Entry, yeah. # no small creator. Yes, that whole thing.
Yes, that whole thing.
That's happening tomorrow.
But he got picked up by Peter McKinnon, and then his channel blew up. That was a couple weeks ago. He got like 22,000 active subscribers in a day. And then now he's way over 30 or something. And then he got featured as YouTube creator on the Rise. Yeah. And so he's in this crazy transition phase of going from small creator to much larger creator. And luckily, because this is a good literacy component, there's a lot of people who benefit from getting shout outs from larger YouTubers or larger channels. But if it's not a good mix for the audience, it's not really effective. Whereas his style and message and Peter McKinnon's style and message, the audiences, I think there's a lot of overlap that would like both of them. So it was a genuine like, ooh, cool growth thing. And he's been using that to not only like continue to share the thing he was doing anyway, but to also then highlight lots of other people. He gave me like a couple things. Every day, basically, he gives somebody else, like he shares the spotlight very generously, which is really, really cool. Part of that is he came all the way out to the West Coast and will be in LA tomorrow.
Yeah, and just going back to, like, you know, this episode and why we wanted to do it, I think Cody's a perfect example of, like, you know, this guy's daily vlogging, not just, like, you know, these are very, very well-produced videos. I don't know, actually, how, like, optimized he got and stuff like that in terms of, like, the algorithm.
I don't know.
But...
I mean, now he's clearly, like, there must be channels that just get on the radar. Because even if you watch, like, a Casey Neistat video and look at his search tags, they're nothing. Like, he does terrible SEO for his videos.
Yeah, exactly.
But they get 1 million views every day.
Yeah, it comes down to just, like, Cody doing what he wanted to do, which was motivating people, empowering people. He had his message, encouraging the doers, and he created every single day and daily vlogged every single day. And look, he doesn't even...
Well, that's from yesterday. Let me look actually at an older video of his. Because that video on that, this is a video from yesterday, and the people who were in the video commented this morning, like, how did you make this video already? Yeah. Which is really funny. Let me look for one, like, before the crazy blow up, like, 5 months ago, where it's just a regular... Yeah, same thing. Yeah. So he hasn't changed anything.
Yeah.
He's doing everything the same way he always did.
Oh, he's really big on Twitter, though.
He engages with everybody, every comment. Like, I know now it's probably more of a challenge because there's a lot more of them, but he's extremely accessible. He participates in the platform. He's part of the community. He cultivated, you know, Facebook groups and a Discord server, and, like, it's not just a drop it and leave. Like,
yeah,
he really, like, is part of it, which is, you know, when people are just like, I upload my video, why is no one watching? It's like, well, you're not participating in the community. Like, you're not a member. When Cody got the shout out or blew up, it was like one of our own, like one of us got that. Like, it wasn't, oh, you know, the next pre-chosen person for the reality show or whatever. It was like, oh man, this was literally like one of the people in, like, the smaller channel circle. Like,
yeah, man. Miriam, he seriously had, like, less than 3,000 and is now at 35,000 in, like, a week.
It's
just been crazy for him, which is so exciting because, I mean, people obviously resonated with his message even before the whole huge thing. So it's really, I'm super excited for him and his whole, you know, no small creator. I think that I love the fact that he's prints. Like, I love that he's, like, empowering small creators, especially just recognizing, it just goes off of what we were saying. Like, there is no such thing as a small creator. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. You shouldn't feel like you are small compared to a big one based on, like, subscriber size.
Well, that's what, because the original video where you got featured on Peter's channel that's why I was like, this can't be the same guy. Like, I really had to, like, look it up, go to his channel and look it up and be like, that's, like, it's like, it couldn't be. But then it was, and then the whole video was about Peter was like, yes, I have this giant audience. You do not have a giant audience.
That doesn't
There is no difference between the two of us picking up our cameras and wanting to make a thing.
Exactly.
And that was like, that was just, it was so, it's the exact opposite of playing to the algorithm, where it's literally just like, you're making something. It does not matter if it gets 10 or 10,000 views, like.
But that's why I think it's really important that creators lean on each other and support each other. Yes. Because, I mean, it's so important that Peter, you know, said that it came from him with his audience and his reach. And, you know, I think it's just great for him to say that to someone who had not even 3,000 subscribers at the time, because, you know, viewers, it's very frustrating for viewers. I love viewers, obviously. That's who I make the content for. But a lot of viewers don't make content. And so they are the ones who are kind of establishing this ladder that doesn't need to be there. Where
it is, yeah, sorry.
You know, like, you're not credible enough because you're not, how many subscribers do you have?
That's the first question.
That much? Yeah, and it's like, well, homie, talk to me about your channel. That's totally blank.
Yeah, I gave a presentation. That's the first thing. If you've made stuff on YouTube, or if you want to, the first question you'll be asking you till you have a YouTube channel is not what it's about. How do you make it's how many subscribers do you have? Everybody doesn't like. That's the first thing.
That's changed for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
But even I gave my presentation. I gave a presentation for work in March of this year in Sacramento for a career technical educator conference.
Like 280.
Yeah, and the presentation was basically about me trying to use digital media in a unique way, and me putting myself as a subject, participating in it by creating a YouTube channel. And I sort of explained what it was like to be a teacher and create that. And I don't promote my YouTube channel to my students, so like kind of keeping those worlds separate, but obviously they have to bridge in some way. And at that point, like, I put up my stats. I was like, so what that means, a year ago, I wanted to get out there and nothing. At the time, I had 260 subscribers and 16,000 watch minutes, and I think those were the big things. But in the presentation, I was like, 260 doesn't seem like a lot in a world where people have 2.2 million. But anybody but one, those were 260 like legit. There was not sub for sub. It was legit high quality, like people who engage with content. And anyone who's created anything knows that, man, hitting that 100, hitting that 50, hitting double digits at 10 and 12 is a really big deal. And it's crazy. And I know, but see, like, another thing that you tell me, and you remind me of this all the time, is like, 50 views doesn't seem like a lot, I think, to anybody. Creator, viewer, whatever. 50 views doesn't sound like a lot. Are you willing to get up in front of a room of 50 people and talk about something? Yeah.
Like, I think most people would be like, hell no. Or nervous, I mean, I get nervous in front of 8 people. So, you don't know, like, who your audience is going to be. And it's very important to create what you want to create. Create what you're passionate about. Share that passion with others. Make an impact. Optimize your videos because you spend all that time creating that content. Do what you can to make sure that, each video has the opportunity and the chance to work for you, right, even while you're sleeping, and, 2 years from now, stuff like that. But then also, try to remember that those numbers and those graphs and those charts and those views and those subscribers, every single person is a person, and you don't know who that person is and the kind of impact that you're making on them. If you have 10 people that are watching your video and one of those people happens to be Casey Neistat, for example, I mean, who cares whether you have 50,000 people that are watching? If it's pretty cool that, like, someone that you are, that you admire, that is like someone that you use your inspiration, if they are one of the 50 people, I mean, that I feel like is amazing. And or if one of those people really needed to hear what you had to say at that time. And
it's hard. Like, a while ago, I looked up iPhone 10 reviews. If you're looking that up and you see a video that has 3.2 million views and right below it there's a video that has 52 views, you're probably more likely to click the 3.2 million one, but there's no reason that the 52 views isn't even a more valid opinion, maybe even a more objective review, because they aren't being to an audience of millions. Exactly. They're just somebody who's like, this is my actual thought on the thing. So it's hard because the views, you don't want them to count, but you have to help people to understand, literally to judge the content not by the views it receives, but by the content of the content or whatever.
Yes. Rock Entry says 100 subscribers is the hardest thing ever.
Oh my God.
Totally true. The first 100 subscribers are the hardest.
It took me 6 months to get 100, and then there was a point where I was getting over 100 per week for a while.
Yeah. The first 100. Oh my God, I'll never forget. Just like 62, 63, and you're checking every day.
Oh yeah, I still check all of it. And then like I said, there was a point where it was really going like 100 per week, and I was like, this is crazy. And then there's a point where that stops, and you suddenly are like, exactly. 0 today, -2, what?
Yeah, it starts dropping, and this whole thing.
Yeah, it's hard, but that is the thing, that each viewer is an entire person. And I had made a video a while ago, which was crazy. It was just, I felt like there's a lot of people on YouTube that were feeling these same things about, like, the views don't matter, the subs don't matter, it's about what you want, we're tired of the algorithm. And I had been working on this video kind of about that. I was traveling on those trips to these locations.
It's so good.
Heather will link it. And that was, Cody linked to it, which was super cool, because I had finished it like the day before he did his like Peter video, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Like, a lot of people were feeling the same thing. But that video is about that. It was sort of my statement so that people watching the channel would then know, like, oh, okay, like, we might not have the same regular like upload schedule anymore or whatever. It's not stooping to the algorithm. But that video, the reason I bring that up is not to promote that video. It's a video I put up where I'm like, this is different from my normal videos. Like, I'm tired of the stress that comes with feeding the algorithm. I want this to be fun, and I want to work. I want to make what I want so that I can share what I want, and then people can see that value. And I just wanted to share that message. The best part of that video, which in no doubt is in a large part to the fact it was shared, but are the comments from that video. It's like 100 comments or something, and almost every one of them is like, this is exactly how I feel. Oh my God, you hit the nail. It's so nice to know someone else feels that way. And my response to those is like, it's nice for me to know that you feel that way. Like,
right.
It's nice. I'm happy I was able to say my message, but it means so much to know that all these other people were like, yes, that's how I also feel. And then, it was so nice.
Exactly. And I think, going back to that supportive community that the creators need, is because sometimes it's like you end up, none of us have a boss. Most of us, okay, unless you're like a production company or whatever.
On YouTube, you mean?
Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah. Like,
it's like I have a boss.
You are the creator of your own channel.
Yes.
You get to determine what your upload schedule is or not is. You get to determine what your channel is about. You get to determine whether you want to do a video about this, or you're going to not upload for a week because you're busy, whatever. You get to determine that. And I think, it's going back to that feeding the algorithm. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to make a video. And then you just start to go crazy. And, that stress is something that I feel like is new to this age.
It's
to this
crazy.
digital world that no one's talking about, because, and I'll tell you why no one's talking about it, because you don't have any of the medical professionals and the research people who are creating and even aware of this being an issue.
Well, even I'm extremely susceptible to migraines when I get stressed. And when I say that, I don't mean when people are like, oh, such a bad one. I can't even say the word because it's
he's like incapacitated.
It's incapacitating for at least a day, sometimes two. I lose my vision, like vomiting. It's literally you just want to die. It's the worst. And a lot of it can be triggered by stress, good stress and bad stress. And I've been getting so many of them last spring, and I was like, why? Like, work had been going better than ever and was like less stressful. I was so like at ease at my job. I was like happy at home. We were having all this kind of fun, and I was like, why is this happening? What am I stressed out about? And I didn't realize the stress was actually coming from my YouTube channel, which was the thing I started doing as it used to be my escape from stress. And now it was the biggest source of stress because I wanted to keep the growth happening, and I wanted to, oh my God, I have to have a video for Tuesday, and we want to go see a movie on Saturday, but I can't because I need to film this and edit that.
And why feel that stress?
Yeah, and that
who's gonna like, get pissed at you and like reprimand you for not upholding to your own freaking schedule that you determine for yourself? Yeah. That's insane.
Nobody's gonna get mad, but when you look at anything talking about YouTube strategy, it's consistency, it's those kinds of things, and it's hard to balance it because you do know, well, if I don't upload for a week or two, my growth is gonna slow, or I know I've been uploading these kinds of tutorials, but I really just want to do this vlog video, but I know that no one's going to watch that, and that's even actually going to make some people unsubscribe. But that's where you come in, and you're like, if people unsubscribe, they're people who didn't want to
get them off the channel anyway.
That's your audience refining itself. It sucks
quality assurance, yo.
Yes, it sucks that the numbers go down, but now the people who are still there are people who did opt in.
Are invested, yeah.
Because they want more, and they want to see that, and they do like it, and so it's just a constant process of refining. It's way slower than just growth hacking YouTube and going like, this is what I need to get.
Yeah, as many subscribers as possible.
I'm parts of lots of like YouTube online communities, and there's always people who are like, I got 10,000 subscribers in 3 months. Like, here's how I did it. And it's just growth hacked the heck out of it.
Growth hacking. Yeah.
Which is, it's just, this is what the algorithm wants. This is what I'm going to make. I have no personal attachment to it whatsoever, but I'm just going to do this and SEO it and boom, boom, boom. And for some people, that's what they want, but that's not what a lot of us want. It's definitely not what I wanted when I started on the platform.
Yeah, and I feel
Definitely
like
not.
at the end of the day, what YouTube and all these digital media platforms allow us to do is do what we would have already done in person, just more effectively and with a way insane wider reach. Is that, you know, you can make it, we want to make an impact on someone. Like Rock Entry, he's passionate about mountain climbing. He would have, if I met him in person, which I will, but if I had met him in person, and he knew, like, hey, are you interested in rock climbing? I am sure that he would have been like, yo, I'll show you the ropes. I'll show you how to do this. Like, you know, let's get together and, like, I could show you the basics or whatever. And then I would have asked him more questions like, hey, you know, how do I do this? How do I get better? You know, how do I train myself to da-da-da-da-da? He would have already been doing that because he is passionate about rock climbing. Tom would have already been making videos or making, you know, 3D printing stuff because that's what he...
Playing with cameras and technology.
Yeah, that's what he was doing his whole life. Like, that's his thing. And it makes me sad when you hear these, like, growth hacking and people who manipulate the algorithm. And, like, now you just have why? Why are genuine creators having to compete with 400 hours of content uploaded every single minute? Or a lot of that content is just, like, ripped content.
Yeah, and
just, like,
or bots and click farms and stuff. Where
yes, that's like so frustrating.
Because we've found a few channels lately, you know, because a lot of times too, someone might leave a comment on your channel. You click to see what they do. You know, if they have a channel, it's interesting. Like, you're interested in my stuff, maybe I'd be interested in your stuff. Not like a sub for sub thing, but legitimately, I found some of my favorite channels that way. And then sometimes you see people like, man, they have 20,000 views per video, but 2 comments, or suddenly, you know, they had 100,000 views, 10,000 views, 50,000 views, suddenly 100 views.
Yeah.
And you're like, what happened? Then you realize, oh, they were buying their views, which is very against YouTube terms of service, and it hurts your channel very much in the long run. But it's also, the bigger question is, I know that like gives you clout because you're like, look at these numbers, but it's like you created something that nobody watched, and then you paid either a robot or someone who didn't watch it to just up a number, and that gives you like a...
Why?
It's like, it's just so, you're performing all the time for nobody.
It's so straight.
It's like the weirdest thing. I would much rather make a video that two real people watch than 10,000 click farm clicks or whatever.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Really quick, Miriam Havard says she made a video where she said exactly that. YouTubers stop whining. She was saying, you run it, you're the boss. Most people don't have that, and that's 100% true. Rock Entry says, I feel you both when you talk about YouTube. Tom, ignoring the algorithm is the best thing to do, especially stressing about schedule. For me, is this. I am not uploading a video until I'm happy with it.
Yes.
No to schedule. Yeah. I love this attitude. I agree.
You know the crazy part, too? Because it was maybe the start of June that I decided to go, like, I'm going to upload whenever I want and not just do...
Yeah,
I would like to try to do a video per week just because that keeps me doing it. But if I don't, that's fine.
You're not going to beat yourself up.
Since then, I've done like more 4 videos per week.
I was like, this is the guy who was like, I'm not going to upload.
But if I don't want to, I don't do it. But
that's the important part. It was having that mentality for yourself.
Yes.
To give yourself permission and acknowledge that, hey, I'm going to make a video literally when I want to. And it's so funny
fun.
That allowed you to actually make more videos.
Yes, because there's not... It's like
pressure.
It's like, you know, you will spend... I'm generalizing here, but a lot of people will spend hours just going down the YouTube rabbit hole. But then if someone's like, oh man, you should watch this YouTube video, you're like, it's like homework and you don't want to do it. As soon as it becomes a chore, it's just... Ugh.
Yeah.
But once it's fun again... then it's fun again. And that, I don't know, that's...
So anyway, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Feeding the algorithm, I think that most people who are here, maybe, it sounds like there's a lot of creators, which is awesome. I love empowering creators, and I think, you know, the message that I'd love for you guys to take home is to support each other. Let's support each other. Yes. It's a mental game that is both, like, you know, could really help you discover a side of yourself that you never would have otherwise. And there's this whole creative, like, evolution that happens, and it's just a beautiful thing. But it also has its tolls, and you know, sometimes people can feel so alone when you're looking at these numbers and you don't see, you know, you're not 50 people will watch your video, but you don't see those 50 faces. You're not talking to them in person. And so, you know, there's just this like disconnect that can really take a toll and make you like put you in just this like bad mental place.
And you can get to a point too, just real quick, where you're like, all I want is 100 subscribers, 100, you work your butt off, you get to 100, you're like, oh yes, I did it. I really want 500. Like, like in reality, the satisfaction is there, but it's very fleeting. It's almost insatiable. And so it's important to remember, man, that's 100 people.
Yeah. Tom, I remember when we, you know, first were creating together, he would always look at my channel as if it was like on this pedestal because it had, you know, it had several thousand more subscribers compared to his. And I was like, there's literally no difference between me and you. And that's, you know, that's why I love like the whole no small creator movement. But anyway, point is like, that's my takeaway for creators. But for viewers though, you know, I feel like you have more power than you know.
Yeah.
And you know, especially with your comments and your engagement, like you could do a lot to support your creators beyond like donating through the super chat. You know, it really helps that if you're watching, leave a comment, you know, let us know that you're one of the 50 people in the room.
And I was telling you earlier, there was I didn't even know how to subscribe on YouTube until like less than 2 years ago. And there were channels I watched regularly and I would just go to their channel page, not logged in, and do that. But if you're doing that, like if you're a regular viewer of a channel that you really like, actually subscribing really does help, and then interacting and subscribe, like that really does help, but for a genuine purpose.
Yeah.
And that means something when your subscriber number goes up with your views and your comments. That means you are building a community, and when you see the same people in the chats and the comments, then it's like, oh man, now I understand. Yeah, it's not a one-way thing.
Exactly. It's not a one-way thing. It's definitely two-way, but more importantly, it's building this community around what you stand for and what your channel is about and you know, your message.
Yeah.
Viewers will start to connect with each other. They'll start to, you know, talk amongst in the comments and in the chat and stuff like that. And that's like awesome that you were the thing to unite them together and spark that conversation.
Exactly.
So, yeah, viewers, support your creators, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, engage in the comments, share. Sharing is huge. So if you're on other platforms, make sure to shout out your favorite creators. And creators, let's hang in there.
And be honest with one another about the struggles and the successes.
I think more people need to talk about it. I think it's important that people, you know, share that, like, so that people know that they're not the only ones feeling that way. Again, it can be really isolating. So
the maybe a thing to go out on then is Red Founder's question of, did you ever think about giving up on YouTube? Because that goes into that.
Oh my God. Red Founder, this is such a funny question, and I'm sad that you're only, you know, putting this, you know, we're about to end, but literally there's not a day that goes by where, for a split freaking second, that quitting YouTube does not cross my mind, because it's so hard, especially, that's why I envy Tom so much, because he's not, this is not his primary source of income, whereas I quit my job and I'm trying to make it my primary source of income. So I guess my approach to it is a little bit different. And, you know, I'm more hard on myself in terms of those numbers because I'm trying to convert those numbers into dollars. And I mean, I have videos and videos and videos about this, and I talk about it a lot, but I would never give up on YouTube because I love it so much. I love creating. I love sharing my story. Even if it's like 50 people, I love that. I still love the fact that, you know, Sandra, who's one of my most loyal subscribers, has been watching me since 2016. Rock Entry, you've been watching me since 2016, and it's crazy that you're still here. We're growing together. You know, we're still on our paths. And I think that's another thing that people don't hear more of is, like, you know, YouTube is a long-term game. People are coming to my workshop thinking like, hey, how am I going to make my YouTube channel in the next month? Dude, if you're taking it seriously, you're doing this forever or for the foreseeable future. And I love that. I love that, I love that I've gotten to know my community and they've gotten to know me and stuff like that. So I don't think I'll ever quit. But yeah, there's definitely frustrating times where I'm like, F this, F it. I don't care anymore.
Yeah,
and I've released my frustration in different ways. Like I'll just upload a video where I'm no optimization. I'm just like, I don't even care anymore or whatever. But yeah.
So if you see those, you know what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's different because you're right. Like, it can just be for fun since it's not the primary source of income. But I firmly, and this might sound silly, but starting a YouTube channel is one of the best things I've ever done.
Yes, same here.
I stand behind that so hard. It's so powerful, so fun, and so motivating that several months ago when I did have a couple feelings of like, I should just stop. I don't even have to do this. That was when the red flags started going up, and I was like, why is this thing that is so fun and so wonderful, why you should not feel that way about it? I have a drum set right here. I've never felt like I shouldn't play the drums anymore because I've never put that kind of pressure on. I play when I want to play. I don't play when I don't want to play. Sometimes I feel like I'm really good. Sometimes I feel terrible at it.
But you still have fun.
But I would never, it's never crossed my mind to get rid of the drum set, even though it takes up half the friggin' room. And that was where I was like, YouTube should be my drum set, where it's
why is it different?
Just a source of joy.
Yes.
And I can just share it with other people. And that for me, in my position, was a huge red flag that something needed to change because I don't want to stop. I don't want to... maybe something would happen where for some reason I don't upload a video for a year or something, but I don't want that to happen. I don't want to flake out and give up and get demotivated. I want to keep it fun and engaging and active.
Because at the end of the day, YouTube gives us, it enables us to do something that we could have never done before.
Yeah, when I was a kid and I would make movies all the time,
like
literally it would be, my friend and I would make a movie and we'd have to kidnap our parents and put him in the living room with his little brother to play him on the VCR, and that's the only people who would ever see it. And then I would rewatch them, or we would rewatch them when we'd hang out, and that's it. The fact that we can share it with everyone.
Yeah, the fact that we can talk to you guys and like there's that engagement and back and forth and the sense of community and all of this, like that is something that I will never ever stop appreciating and respecting. Like, it's amazing. And Rock Entry, thank you so much for the super chat donation, $5. Woo, 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 woo. Really appreciate it. Super chats are super helpful, so definitely support your creators. But Rock Entry, thank you, I appreciate it, and hopefully we see you tomorrow at the No Small Creator meetup. So Optimus Jack, yo, what's up? What's up, Optimus Jack? So Tom and I are actually going to wrap this up. That's what we've been trying to do. So, oh yeah, the soundboard. Oh, here, show this.
Oh, this is actually really cool.
Because we're going to,
it's the Elgato Stream Deck, so you can you can do things remotely through OBS. It's awesome. It has sound things, but I set it up wrong. I just got this yesterday. I set it up wrong, but I do have this.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing Twitch, actually, as a supplemental thing. I talked about it before, but I got my new laptop, and now this laptop can handle what I wanted to do, which was, stream my live editing. So, in case you're interested, twitch.com or twitch.fm, I don't know, twitch.com/HeatherJustCreate.
You don't even know the URL. We're very new at Twitch.
Yeah, literally, I had my account, but I'm playing with it. So, isn't that similar to a Launchpad?
It's kind of the same idea. Actually.
It's the same idea, except that
happen to have a Launchpad here.
You can program this to, OBS.
This is specifically for streaming, and the cool part is each button is a customizable LCD screen icon, so you can customize it. Even for the ShareSpark stream, it looks different than one for my channel, than one for Heather's channel, than Twitch and YouTube. It's pretty nifty. You can switch cameras and things, so instead of having to go and click over here, and it's $130, whereas video switchers are thousands of dollars. So blew my mind. I just found out it existed last weekend and love it. So
boom.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up because I'm hungry. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this episode of SHARESPARK TV.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. So we'll be here again next Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Tell your friends and tune in. Thanks for watching. Do you have a Launchpad Pro? Red Founder says. Red Founder, go check out the Enthusiasm Project channel if you haven't already.
It's an older Launchpad.
Good night, Rock Entry. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. See you guys later. Share Spark. Share your story.
Spark your potential.